Hello my friends. I am going to go over a few things with you guys today. I got in an order of seeds and I wanted to talk to you about what I got from Walmart on Monday. And I also got in an order of more pots. So this was the first thing that came. These are 2-inch pots. I got them off of Walmart, Amazon, Walmart. It's all the same. Got them off of Amazon. I got 100 of them for I ordered 200. First time I ordered 200, I ordered 200 again. It was right around 40 bucks with shipping and taxes. So I ordered these, and I also ordered, I got a burpee order. See that? Sorry about that light. But I got 3 different packs of petunias, and I don't know why I did not order the orange tangerine tomato. I really want to try that tomato. You know, that tomato, you can get it from Burpee. I've seen it on there, and they actually tell you on there, if you look on in their catalog, that it is the only tomato that has been tested to help improve your gut microbiome. I want to get that right. Make sure my sister heard me right there. So anyways, these petunias, one is cascading. It is the Shockwave, and that's the coconut hybrid. It says a pure white blossom. The other one is a debonair dusty rose hybrid, and then the last one is a fancy dress hybrid, and I'll throw pictures of these in there. So I got these. They came today. When I was at Walmart, I picked up, look at this. Have you ever seen anything so stunning? I mean, that is just beautiful, and it's a perennial. I got 3 roots for $5. It's the blue sea holly. I just love this flower. I've seen it on YouTube in people's gardens, and I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. So I ordered that. I didn't order it, I'm sorry. I picked that up in Walmart for $5. I think I'm going to April to May is when I'm supposed to plant it here. That can't be right. I mean, they got me in the same shading, where they shade the United States and tell you when to grow it as Maine. So well, regardless, I'm going to plant it in here first, and then I'll transplant it outside. Make sure it gets some growth on it. I also got, see that? Those are black raspberries. I got one of those, and I got a blackberry. I got both of them for $10. And when I get paid again on the 30th, I think I'm going to go back if they have them and buy one more package. So I've got 2 plants each. I may actually, they had the black raspberry and they had a red raspberry. I may grab that, but I don't know. I really love blackberries. They're so good for you. And black raspberries, I grew up on these things. Granddaddy used to take us, me and my brother, black raspberry picking. And, oh my goodness. We would mainly get them from the side of the road down in Southwest Virginia, way Southwest Virginia. And I don't know what I liked more, was eating them raw or black raspberry ice cream. The only thing with the black raspberry ice cream is they're very seedy. But black raspberry jelly is the bomb. So I'm just now thinking about that. I will definitely need some more in order to, at least one more this year, in order to have enough. Yeah. In order to have enough. I'll get one more, and then I can root them. But this is what I got home, and this is the blackberry, and this top part here was covered up to right here. You could see the top of the thing, the stem here. It's brown, but they were all brown. I wasn't sure. Still not sure how this is going to work. But there's some craft paper that's lining it, and there's I watered them when I got home, so we'll see. We'll just see. But the great news is the black raspberry had a growth part on it. So I did the same thing with this. I watered it well when we got home and pulled this down, watered it, and what I did was I stuck both of them underneath the grow light to see. Actually, that one has got some growth on it. It's greened up. It was more of a white color. So that is cool. I'm really excited about that. And the other thing I wanted to show you tonight was my planner. I use just a plain old calendar-like planner. I found this at, I think, Home Goods. I've had all kinds of planners. I graduated with my bachelor's in 2017, and I always would plan for my classes and my tests. When I was getting my associates, it wasn't until I got to Radford and got around some girls who really knew about planning. They helped me a lot. So what I did, I decided just to take a book like this and go through. I've got single days here, and then I've got the month. Like, this is the month of January. And I wrote on every Saturday, what needed to be planted. And I put little notes in it like this if I had something special that I wanted to do. I marked with a highlighter some special stuff, like this is a start of 10-hour days. And so I just put in there, and then inside the front, the first page, December doesn't have one, but January certainly does. Not January. Is it February? So here's February. You can see where I've got different things marked. There you go. That's my chart that I put up for my cool flowers, my cool weather flowers, what I needed to plant, when, how, any special things I needed to do. Last date to plant, I've got petunias in stock. And then throughout the single days here, every week, I have different things that I need to be focusing on. So you're like, how do you get all that? How do you know all of this? I've got last year's stuff in here, planted petunias, 10 to 14 days of germination, plant daisies, plant verbenas, plant purple coneflower, and the days of germination on those. I've also got on here where I planted. I'm using my days that I either do it, or like if I do it within a day or two, I'll still put it on the Sunday. So throughout here, I've got different things that I'm doing. Last date to plant beets, broccoli, bells of Ireland. Set out April 8th. Set these out. The zinnia, the coleus, the tomatoes, cucumber, celery, basil, cosmos, and marigolds. And what I do not have set up yet is my fall calendar. You can see my June calendar is pretty full, and I don't have fall set up. I've got to work on the fall, but I mean it's a work in progress. It is. I like it. I like this little book. It's not really big. It's just right for me. But this is something you can do, because goodness gracious, you can go online, you can go to Walmart, you can go to Home Goods, you can go to Marshalls, you can go to TJ Maxx. All these places, they have these types of planners. So in 2018, that summer, we had early summer, we had massive rains here in Northern Virginia. And this basement, the sump pump stopped working because a breaker tripped, I think, is what we think has happened. But regardless, everything down here got 2 to 3 inches of water. I came home at lunchtime and it was just, water was everywhere, ruined everything. So we weren't the only ones. A lot of people in this area had water damage, had basement damage, and needed their basements redone. So it took a while to get that done. So while we were waiting, I actually moved upstairs into the dining room. While I was waiting, that's when I got really into YouTube. I was trying to find someone that was close to me in this area, because I'm used to growing down in Southwest Virginia. So I wanted to find someone in this area that was growing, had been growing for a while, that could help me with my plant dates. Because I knew, just because the calendar said you could, wait until the last frost, well, you can push that in a lot of areas. And I knew if I found someone on YouTube, they would be an experienced gardener that was willing to share. And that's what I was looking for. So that's when I found Gary at the Rusted Garden. I was looking, in 2017, I planted 3 tomato plants out by the back area, by the deck. And I got blight, like it, by August my tomatoes were done. So I was looking for someone that could help me figure out the blight. How could I beat the blight without spraying chemicals? Because I really don't want to do that. Didn't want to do it. So in the process of finding that, I found Gary. And I started keeping notes because I had nothing to do, and it was a year for me that 2018 was not a good health year for me. I deal with some health issues, and 2018 just was not a good year. I was just trying to nurse myself back to health, really. So what I did was I took notes, and I started like towards the middle because I knew I wanted the beginning for other things. So I started taking notes on what I saw Gary doing, because Gary was he's a very good gardener. I learned a lot from Gary, not so much about how to grow something, but the process of growing something. Not how to grow a tomato. I know how to grow stuff. I'm not afraid of putting a plant in the ground or a container or whatever and watching it grow. I'm not afraid of it dying. That's just me. I don't have that fear because I was around it when I was younger. But I learned a lot of the little things from Gary, like the blight, how to take care of things in a natural way, and he reassured me that sometimes you just have to use other methods. You might have to use something that you don't want to use if you want to keep that plant. But he also taught me something I did not know, like succession planting with tomatoes. I mean, did what my dad did. I put everything out. Everything went out beginning of May. Gary was the one that was like, hey, don't do that. Just put out a few plants, and then 2 weeks later put out 2 more. 2 weeks later put out 2 more. 2 weeks later put out 2 more. I found that really didn't work for me because things just grew up to that 2-week period. So I spaced mine last year. I did a first planting and a second planting, and that was a game changer. Last year was the first year that I used his blight control methods. That was a game changer. I had tomatoes up until October. It was crazy. So I learned a lot from Gary, and what I did was I just took notes. I mean, it's just like being in school all over again, listening to a lecture. I just took the notes. I'd listen, I'd write stuff down, I'd listen again, I'd write stuff down, I'd play that video over again, I'd write stuff down. I swear, that's one of the reasons I know I helped in the success of his channel, because I know I've watched some videos like 10, 15 times just to make sure I got everything. So I got a lot from him. Somebody else I got a lot from too, and I found, was Jess down at Roots and Refuge. She's down in Louisiana. Her growing season is just it sounds like it's about 2 weeks longer than mine. It starts 2 weeks earlier than mine, so she gets almost a full month from me. Or she used to. Now I've got access to a greenhouse. I got her. So again, with Jess, I didn't learn how to plant. I just learned a lot of little things that helped me grow my plants. Jess is a lot like me. She will research the heck out of something to figure out why you have to do it that way. Why is it like that? Why? So I gravitated towards her. Like I learned, she gave me the recipe in one of her videos. She gives you the recipe for the molasses and water. And she's also the one, and why you do that. When to pick a tomato. I mean, that just, to me, you picked it when it was ripe. That's what you did. That's what I did my whole life. Well, not necessarily. You know, you've got to look at the weather. If it's going to rain, you pick your tomatoes before it rains. You don't pick your tomatoes. I knew you didn't pick your tomatoes in the heat of the day. I knew you were supposed to pick them early in the morning or late in the evening. But the whole rain thing was just a game changer. So yeah, I learned a lot from her. And I used this notebook to write down things that I learned from those videos. I used the notebook to plan out my garden for this past year. I used my notebook during this winter to write down what was happening in the garden on certain days according to my phone and the pictures that I took. I mean, that stuff is invaluable. I took notes on my plant sale. I took notes on the weather. I mean, I've got March, is that March or April? Hold on. Yeah, that's March. I can look here and say I got sick back in March. Around the 18th I got sick. But I also potted up Early Girl, Black Creme, Beefsteak, Paul Robeson, Abe Lincoln, repotted in cell packs, some of the above, replanted all peppers, planted cherries, sweet 100s, chocolate cherry, doctors, green doctors, blueberry, atomic grape. Planted dill, spinach, poppy, larkspur, chard, columbine. You know, and I've got the temperature for the 20th. I wrote down 57 degrees / 30. So that just tells me what was going on. So I've got this record. And I used this when I did my planner. So I used this when I went to fill out my planner. And that's how I'm gardening this year. I'm using both of these books. I am still watching videos. I love Charles Downing over in England. I like watching the allotment videos this time of year because they've got this whole growing in cool weather process down. They know what they're doing. So, you know, I watch him. I learn something. I pull out my notebook and I'll take notes. I was watching another video today on a couple that have a new not greenhouse, but a hoop house. And they're testing their temperatures. And so I saved that video so I can go back and watch it later so I can take notes because I learned quite a few things. I don't really like their channel that much. It's just a personal thing. But that's something that I can learn from. So I'll take it and I'll jot that stuff down. So anyway, I hope that this helps. I hope that you find a way to make your growing more efficient. I am looking forward to this year in extending my season into the fall. Didn't have a chance to do that last year because I wasn't organized to get my seeds planted, potted up, and in a holding area while the 100-degree days in September and early October fizzled out. If I'd had my lettuce, if I'd had my broccoli, if I'd had my beets and all that other stuff in here, just holding on like it does in the spring, it just holds on until the soil warms up. If I'd had that in the fall, and a plan or go to my calendar to see what I had to do on certain days, I would have had food out of my garden. I know through February. Not February, through January this year. We did buy some broccoli plants, and I literally was picking broccoli, I think it was like January 10th this year. And had I had hoop, the row cover over that, I'd still have that broccoli now. I know I would. There's no doubt in my mind that I wouldn't. It's just not been a cold winter. So that one's on me. That escaped me, and I like having my fresh food out of my garden. It's just what I like having. So I hope y'all have a good night, and I will talk to you tomorrow.